All righty. What a day out there today, huh? Welcome to Chat CANNA, Thursday, 225, 2021. It's been a crazy day. It has just been a crazy day. The beehive is up there because it's so exciting. It's just so exciting. Let's make the beehive go away. Hello. Welcome. Many exciting things to talk about. We're going to talk about something really serious before we get in the show. But the show today is about, of course, the new ag commissioner, the new old ag commissioner, but I think it's good. The show today also is about the Minnesota House of Representatives committee has passed and is ready to move forward on legalizing recreational marijuana in the state of Minnesota. We got lots of details about that. Good, bad, and different. I'm just bringing you the news. You got to make the decision. I'm sorry that I have a lozenge in my mouth. That's another doctor appointment that's got to come up here. Just got to get my throat checked out. Whether I have nodules on my vocal cords or this just can't be part of getting old. I don't know what's going on. We got to figure it out. Yeah, and then no. The cat's been out all day, and now he, of course, wants to play, and we're out of his schedule, and that's okay too. But he might be bothering me, and a couple times I'll have to be fierce with him. Before we start anything, I don't know if you've been hearing like through the show or some news in the Red River Valley, but there's just an overdose of suicide going on. Just too much. No. Right now, you got to go away for a while. Yeah. Close to me, one of my former employees who's working with an associate of mine now, it just happened in his family circle. And you can say, well, it doesn't affect me, but this is kind of funny because it's heavily affecting him, which then is affecting my business partner in his work, which is now directly affecting me. So when this happens, it affects us all. And now just today, I tuned into a gentleman that I listen to almost every morning for his podcast, his video podcast, and I just get a big pump up from him every day. Just enlightening. And he starts the day with suicide prevention going across the screen on his show because the brother of a couple that he knows, the wife's brother, has done this morning. And you see, so now it's two people that I don't even know, but who are then friends with the person that I know, and has done this. And so now here, I'm troubled by it again. And please don't misunderstand. I'm not making this about me. I'm saying this is really sad. And this is terrible. This is just terrible. It's happening in our schools. It's happening both younger and younger and middle age. I remember when I was pretty young and a neighboring farmer who had lost his wife. I can say his name now. It's been years. His name was Bauer. That was his last name. His wife had died. She was such a nice lady. She was dressed and had nice jewelry on every time I met her in my life. She was such a wonderful woman. But she had passed on and he was living alone. His children were grown and He had two bad knees or hips or whatever. He could hardly walk, two crutches, those things that are on your arms. And it was either that day or very soon that he was going to be taken to a full care facility. And, he had been a fully active man all of his life. He was approaching 90. Some of these facts are soft now because it's been many, many decades. So, and he went out in the garage and used the facility of carbon monoxide in the car to terminate his life. And it was very sad. My parents were very disturbed about it. And now it's happening all around us, and it's particularly happening during these times of this lockup and thing that we have going on. And so if anybody is out there, if this is the moment that you might be thinking about this, and you happen to be tuned into my little hemp show, I'm telling you, please make another choice. Call the hotline. It's a real easy number to know. The number is 1-800. You know the 800 number. You can remember 282, and then it's the word talk on your phone, 8255. And it's 800-273, rather. 800-273, and the word talk. 800-273-TALK. And there's somebody there that has been through this. Chances are they were right there where you might be today. And something like this happened, and they didn't quite do it. And they're ready to talk to you, and they're ready to listen. And I'm asking you, I'm begging you, don't do this. That's the best I got for you. It's the best I can say. And you're saying, hey, this chat doesn't need to be in this hemp program, but this is just disturbing me. It's disturbing my friends. It's disturbing people that I talk to every day. I was talking to a psychologist yesterday in passing. And maybe I need to just quit my job and become a one-man band, as others too. I'm not making this my personal thing, but, I'm real selfish about this. What if one of these people that does this would go on through college and whatever and get into some kind of chemistry and microbiology or whatever and invent the next drug that might cure me of something that I need down the road? See, I'm real selfish about this. So if you're saying you're making this all about yourself, John, yes, I am. Yes, I have a desire to live some more years in my life. And, it might take medicine to do that. And so, yes, I'm being very selfish about that. Because one of these people along the way who might decide to do something that I would rather they don't do might get stopped from doing that if somebody reaches out to them. So if you've got somebody around you that's acting unusual, all you got to do is say, hey, are you thinking of doing something crazy? Are you thinking of making a big decision here? Can we talk about it? I'd like you to not do that. Give them this number, 800-273-TALK, 8255. That's it. That's that part. Let's talk about the show today. The tide is turning in Minnesota. It's got to turn. By the way, I am not a user of the products with THC in them. We're in the hemp business. We like being in the hemp business. Got some new products coming out. They're going to be on a webpage here in a week or so. It's really great. It's really great. But with the pressure that's on it because of it being illegal and yet being used by everyone, they're saying, 7th graders, 8th graders are using and selling and passing this drug between them in school. And we don't know where this drug has come from. And we don't know what might be conveniently put on it to enhance its potency. And some of those things can be dangerous, and particularly dangerous to young minds. This drug has got to be in the stream of controlled access where it can be pulled off a shelf and checked. And the people that have it on their shelf want it to be absolutely controlled, both by having nothing else on it except the product that it is, and also in the dose that we know what it is. And really, in my humble opinion, out of the hands of young people. And the money that it's taxed with can be used for education and control. And also, so that, you know, if somebody has it on their clothes or something, and they're being stopped for a speeding ticket or a parking ticket or anything, then the policeman doesn't have to worry about being an enforcer for that, because it's not a crime anymore. And he can go about doing what his job is. That's what this should be. It's just got to happen. Not necessarily my choice. If you want to sit down some night and talk about my personal feelings on it, I'm happy to. This doesn't have a place in this show. But you know, folks, like the thing in the Duluth Tribune yesterday. Hey, if people will drive from Minneapolis to Wisconsin to buy fireworks, they're going to drive over there to buy things that are legal there and not legal in Minneapolis. Consider, South Dakota has made it legal, and my big show yesterday, I promise you, it's coming to North Dakota. That is about 500 miles of border that it shouldn't be the sheriff's, the highway patrolman, and the policeman's job to be policing cars coming in from those two states. It's legal from Pembina, North Dakota, all the way to the Arrowhead, Thunder Bay, and make it the Border Patrol and the Highway Patrol up there and the sheriffs to be handling that. Because if they don't catch it at the border, and they might not, all of a sudden people that bought it totally legal in our friendly neighboring country up there in Canada, and, you know, I mean, hey, I was 18 once when it was 21 in America. I got to tell you, there was a few bottles of hooch that came across the border in my car. Sometimes they came across the border in my windshield washer bag. You know, kids are rather creative. Let's get smart about this. Now, the big problem is the Minnesota legislature. The House committee has said yes to it. They're putting the bill together. I think it's a little funky. They're saying an ounce and a half, where North Dakota said an ounce. I don't know if you know, but if you had a baggie in front of you, a sandwich bag, that's like a little more than a hot dog in size in the bottom of the bag. I only know this because some of my younger workers explained it to me. That's about an ounce of product. But then North Dakota says a person cannot raise it in your house. You have to buy it everywhere. You can't raise it if that should pass and become law. But Minnesota is saying that you can have up to 10 pounds at home. A pound then would be 16 of those hot dogs. Think of a hot dog pack in the store. That would be 16 of those, and then that's at 1 pound. So then you could have 10 of those. I'm surprised that Minnesota is considering letting you raise, I think it's 8 plants, of which you can bring 6 to maturity. Boy, that's, 4.5 million people. That's a lot of a product growing in the state of Minnesota. Not counting what, people could just throw it on gardens everywhere. I think that's a lot of a lot of stuff for our police force. When I say that, I mean the Highway Patrol, sheriffs, and policemen all together to kind of police. But I'm not making the laws. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think North Dakota's model might be a better place to start. Leave it in the hands of the people who are licensed to grow it, process it, and sell it. But again, my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. But anyway, there's where we are. The problem is, in North Dakota, when the House passed it, the talk on the street and the belief is that the Senate's going to be easier than the House was, where the House passed it 50-some to 30-some. And then the governor has already said that he would probably sign it. In Minnesota, the House is the easy place. The Senate is overly controlled by Republicans, and they're just saying they ain't going to do it. And I think that that's wrong for Minnesota. Legislative laws and controls in my hands are better than criminal factions on the street and drug dealers. Again, back to the fact that even if it's just people who are over 21 and legal, you still don't know what you're getting. You don't know what's been poured on it to enhance it. It could be lethal. You're just trusting this guy that you met in the back of a bar passing in a car. And yes, you may know him, but he doesn't know what he's getting from his supplier. These are backstreet guys. So much better if it's in a store, licensed and insured. And you can find out really quick if it's not the good stuff. And there are products coming out, even though we're in the hemp business, we get the catalogs, we get the pitches. They are bringing, we have one to test for THC because we have to be under the limit for THC. And it tests for CBD, and now it tests for available water. And it's going to start, as they're designing these things, they're going to test for more and more and more. But you're going to have these things to test with. So I just think it's all great. And it has to be done, and it's good. And I'd much rather, I don't mind buying wild chickens and duck, not wild, but raised on a farm from a farmer that I know, chickens and ducks and geese and a cow. I've got a cow in my freezer raised over in East Grand Forks. But even then, it is a farm from a 3-generation cow raising family. I do know its background, and I know that man buys feed from a feed place that has feed. He didn't buy it, from a guy passing by going, "Hey, buddy, you want to buy some discount feed?" I have a chain of sources that I trust. And to me, that's what's so important. So enough of that story. That's the news about that today here on Chat CANNA. And I hope that you find that valuable and you believe in it and you share it with your friends a little bit. To me, that's good stuff. To me, it's important stuff that we are working about and talking on here for you. So, boy, I'm looking down the list here for my name, and I got so many things in here at any one time that let's get that going there, and let's do this. All right, the next story for today. He's an Iowan. It used to be that we used to make fun of people from other states, but we can't do that anymore. And particularly, it's so important, I think, now to support all Americans. His name's Tom Vilsack. He has been confirmed as of the 24th, yesterday, as the new Secretary of Agriculture. Both the new and the old, because he was the Secretary of Agriculture through President Obama's term. My first thought as kind of a person that throws out comments and goes, really, you couldn't find a new guy? I don't know. He saw the USDA during the passage and implementation of the 2014 Farm Bill. which opened up hemp for us. So can't complain about that. In his first and opening remarks that he's made now to the American people, he did not mention the word hemp. I don't know if we should feel bad about that. It's a tough time right now. You can't expect him to cover every base in the opening day. So he has been criticized back then in the Obama years because there was a lot of foreclosing on black farmers who, kind of fought back and were complaining about discrimination and inequitable farm loan distribution to black farmers. I don't know. It wasn't a hot topic for me back then. A lot of that stuff's come around, just in the last 3-4 years. One of the things he is planning to do is to make agriculture carbon neutral. Of course, hemp is right at the front of the list to do that. But this is kind of in baby steps here as far as to figure out how to do that. If you can find us some grants, we'd be happy to start setting up the plans to do that. The first thing, of course, is going to be pandemic-related farm aid. And how are you going to divide that up? He supposedly got $3 billion, but how are we going to divide that up? Who are you going to give it to? There's going to be big farmers and these corporations that are going to quickly have people designing reasons to give it to them. So right now, President Joe has put a freeze on any payments to farmers while everybody sits back and takes their chairs and makes their plans and gets their underlings and the underlings all put in place. So this is what we got. In the years since Obama, Vilsack has been president and CEO of the U.S. Dairy Export Council. I would tell you that the dairy farmers that I know would quietly tell you or have told me that they weren't so hot on what he did. I'm sure they truly feel that. But, in this modern changing world, and about what Trump put into effect with the different tariffs and blockades and fights with China, some of the Republican people will tell you that that's what he had to do to start fixing things that have been so broken. I'm not an expert in all that. I don't know. It's an exciting time to be alive. I think it's an exciting time to be in agriculture. I am sad. Well, not sad, because my dad lived to be 95 years old, and he lived in agriculture. He lived and breathed it. It was to the end. I mean, he was alive, alert, and hip in agriculture until November. He was born in January, so what's that? 9 months into his 94th year, and couldn't ask God for anything more. But he died 8 days short of his 95th birthday, and but I am sad that he couldn't have lived to be 140 and still be following along what happened, because he started farming with horses, and they harvested with one of the Wenzels over by Fisher had a steam thresher, and they had their turn when the thresher pulled into their fields, and they brought bundles to the thresher, and Mr. Wenzel knew just how to feed the steam thresher by hearing how it was puffing, as to just what speed they could feed the bundles in. And from there, finally to a combine that went up and down the rows, and of which that was still here on the farm when I was a child. There's a picture of me on it, sitting here in the yard, not 100 feet from here, to the cockshut combines, which traded out for the middle-sized John Deere combines, which started to get traded out for the big monsters that we have now. And so he saw all that. He got to fly in jet airplanes. So he actually went from horses to jet airplanes. Something that will never happen again, although I've flown in a lot of propeller airplanes. Matter of fact, the last plane I ever flew in was a propeller airplane. But my life really started out in jet airplanes. And there's I'm going to die in jet airplanes. There's not going to be, they may go faster, smoother, higher, with more perks, but there's just going to be jet airplanes. So that is Chat CANNA for today. Again, if you feel that somebody around you is acting different, particularly if they're despondent and somewhat depressed, ask them. What are they going to do? Hit you? But if they are, and you somehow get them to treatment and you save their life, ain't it worth it? I'm sorry for the bad grammar there, but ain't it worth it? The National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 800-273-8255, and I have no regrets to put that in my show today. That's Chat CANNA for this week. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday.